So earlier this week, I got a question from a young man who asks, "Yo, Elliot, how do I find a woman who's not a slut?" Now, I had to sit with this question for a while because the fact is we live in a slut culture where almost everyone's a slut. Men are sluts, women are sluts. And if you're not a slut, you're probably sitting at home wishing you were a slut. Given the chance to be a slut, you probably get out there and slut it up. So how does one go about finding someone with sexual purity, chastity, someone with virtue, in a world where everyone's promiscuous, everyone's a slut, everyone's fucking? The very first thing I want you to consider is that if you are looking for a woman who's not a slut, and I don't blame you, I wouldn't want a slut either, then you have to cease being a slut maker yourself. Every single time a man has sex with a woman who he doesn't intend on making babies with, he's creating one more slut out there in the world. And it's my opinion that if men don't want sluts, which I don't blame them, I really believe that it's best to be with someone who has sexual purity, sanctity, virtue, and not a snotty tissue that's been ejaculated in up to hundreds of times, dozens. It's disgusting. Just my opinion. Then we got to take hold of the rein. We've got to choose. We're the one who have to now decide whether or not we're going to have sex with women. See, back in the past, before birth control pills and abortion, women were the ones that had to hold up that barrier, that boundary, and they were the one that controlled access to sex. But now, because there's no consequence for sex, you can just spread your legs and take in any amount of jizz you want without any consequence. Women are behaving a lot like men used to. So that means no one is playing that power card. No one's playing to their strength of whether or not they're going to give away their power to someone by having sex with them. And 100% sure that when you have sex with a woman, you give your power away. Not only do you give your neediness to her, because now it's like a drug dealer and a drug addict situation. Start having sex with a woman, she knows you're hooked, and you gotta go crawling back. I need another fix. Most of the time when we think that we are in love with a woman, it's we're in love with her sex. We're in love with the feeling that we get from ejaculating in her. Sex addiction, sex drug. And you know, like any good drug dealer, they're gonna play that power card. So I don't think it's a good idea for men to be promiscuous. Anyway, my point is that if we stop having sex with women, then they're going to have to get their act together. Now, I get it. Most men are weak. Most men are needy. Most men are addicted to that sensual, sexy feeling that they get, and they're out there nutting in as many women as they possibly can. But somebody's got to take a stance. Some generation has to make a stance. Some group of men at some time in this world have to say no. No more. I don't need your sex. You're not going to manipulate me with your vagina. And I would much rather be with a virtuous woman. And I don't blame you. Once again, I understand. There's a lot of good reasons why you wouldn't want to bed down, settle down, and have babies with a woman who has had sex with dozens and dozens and dozens of men. I'll get into that in a moment. So that's number one. If you don't want sluts out there, if you want virtuous women, we have to do it first. We have to do it ourselves. If you're complaining about women in any regard, if any men are complaining about women in any regard, we got to look at ourselves first because we are the stronger sex. We're the one that decide. Women only have all the power that they have to be the sluts that they are because we let them. We're the ones that, allowed them to vote in politicians that allow us to now have birth control pills and abortion. An easy divorce, right? So all the power is in their hands right now. All of it. But it's our fault. That's the point. And I don't blame them. If men are so weak that they succumb, give away their power, especially to the tantalizing, sensual sex, that they dish out like drug dealers, then we deserve it. Number two, I posed this question to my friends. We were out the other day and I was like, guys, I don't know how to answer this question because I've been married for so long. I don't know what it's like out there. How do you find a woman who's not a slut? My boy said this, man, you gotta judge a book by its cover. In this world where we have tender hearts and soft brains, we like to abide by certain sayings that really don't make any sense. Like, don't judge a book by its cover. I'm judging books by its fucking cover. If you dress like a slut, act like a slut, talk like a slut, walk like a slut, chances are you're a slut. And I get it. Women in this feminized or feminist primary world will argue. Just because I'm dressing like this don't mean I'm trying to attract you. I'm dressing this way for me. That's not true, baby. It's not true in a multiple different reasons, but I'll tell you what you're doing when you do dress like that. Chris Rock had a really good skit one year, a couple years back, where he said that, look, if I dress up like a police officer, put on a badge, put on a hat, dress in blue and walk in the door, you're gonna address me based on the way I'm dressed. You're gonna act towards me based on what I have on. If you're wearing the uniform of a cop, you're gonna get the respect of a cop. If you're wearing the uniform of a prostitute, that means shorts where a piece of your ass is showing. That means a lot of boobs and side boobs hanging out. That means showing your midriff, your belly, damn near down to the pubic bone. These are not virtuous ways of dressing, right? This is this kind of outfit you'd find a street hooker wearing. But I get it. Our culture has made it normal, empowering even. And of course, I'm a bad guy for saying this stuff. But the culture is backward. The culture has gone awry. The culture is wrong. And so, if you're dressing that way, and men, and you see women that way, turn the other way, run away. If you dress like a slut, there's a good chance you're a slut. And there's a really good video on YouTube by Entrepreneurs in Cars, Rich Cooper, about red flags in women. Things like tattoos, check out the way their hair is, check out the way they speak. A vulgar woman in her mouth is gonna be a vulgar woman down below. So check out the red flags. There are red flags. And don't ignore the red flags. Don't ignore the cover of the book. It's gonna tell you what's inside. Guaranteed. And number three, I really don't think it's in men's best benefit. I don't think it's anybody's benefit to be promiscuous. There really is no point in having lots of sex with lots of people. The only reason why we have sex, the only real point of sex, is to make babies. If you're having sex with a woman, and I get it, the world is so far left that it's gonna be hard to turn the boat around, but if I can just offer you this, I know you're out there, you're screwing. Ask yourself before you have sex with a woman, would I want this woman to be the mother of my children? Don't ask yourself that question while your dick is hard. Ask yourself that question before you even meet up with her that day. Is she the type of woman that is gonna make a good wife, a good mother, a good homemaker? It's gonna be worth something besides the pussy between her legs. That's really the only reason why you seek someone out for sex, is to make a family. Of course, in this day and age and in this world, we made sex a entertainment, and also we make it like a right and a privilege. And there's all kinds of reasons, and I'm sure I'm going to get all kinds of feedback as to why I'm wrong and that sex is a great thing for bonding. Bonding is bullshit. Bonding and feeling doesn't get you anywhere when that baby comes and your woman's acting like a bitch. She doesn't get things done. She can't take care of the baby. She's losing her mind. The house is a mess. She's not a good partner. Bonding for what? That's a lie. You're gonna sit here and tell me that, oh, it's for bonding. It's so we can get to know each other a little bit better. You've been tricked by the Disney culture. That is not true. If you want to bond, get a dog. In fact, it's better that men bond with other men. Really think about bonding in that sense. What do you want to have? Intellectual conversations? Guarantee you're going to have better conversations with your buddy than with your fuck buddy. Do you need companionship? Like I said, get a dog. Once again, get with men, get with friends. A part of the reason why so many men are killing themselves today is because we've been addicted to women, and women are slapping us around, and we don't have any friends to be with, friends to talk to, because our friends are out there chasing pussy. Men need to bond with men. Men need to be friends with men. Men don't need to be friends with women. My wife is not my friend. She's my wife. She's the mother of my children. So that's it, my man. Look, the bottom line, and the point I really want to get across in this long video is that if we want a world with virtuous women, we got to take control. We're the ones that got to uphold that virtue. Stop having sex with women. Stop being promiscuous. Stop being a slut maker, and demand that women live up to a standard that is befitting of someone who's becoming a mother. Because really, that's the only point for all of this screwing. Done.